Hey folks, today I am going to talk a little bit about the iPhone spoke tensioner, and I'm going to demonstrate its use. So, spoke tensioner works by listening for frequencies, just like a guitar string. Spokes tend to ring at a certain frequency under a certain tension. So, in order to get an accurate tension out of that frequency, we need to know a few other things. We need to know the length of the spoke, and we do that by measuring the open span. That is the point that it either touches the hub or it touches another spoke. In the case of crossed spokes, it generally touches another spoke before it touches the hub. And we measure from there down to the nipple. I'll go ahead and demonstrate measuring on this crossed spoke wheel. So, we've got a cross right here, and our nipple is right down here. We measure just to the nipple, which is about 7.5 inches on this one. So that's 7.5 inches. We'll set our sliding scale to 7.5. Voila. The next thing we need to know is the diameter of the spoke. I happen to know these are 1.8s. If you check your manufacturer specs, they might specify what the spoke diameter is. If not, you can go ahead and get one of these little devices, which has various gaps in it to measure spokes. I'll check with the 1.8. Yeah, 1.8 fits over there nice and snug. These are butted spokes. It's a note for you folks with butted spokes. You want to put in the butted area, that's the narrower central area of the spoke, as your measurement. So these are 2.0, 1.8. I put in 1.8. And these happen to be steel spokes, so we'll go to 1.8 round steel. If you have other materials, go ahead and put those in. And of course, you probably know that you have other materials because you spend a lot for your wheels. Alright. Now, we've got our measurements put in. We're ready to start checking tensions. Before we do, I want to mention a couple things. One is that this is a very sensitive app. It has an audio range sensor. Every time you make noise, it resets that range to be able to detect the tones and frequencies. If somebody comes in and makes a loud noise while you're checking your spoke tension, you may need to reset the sensitivity. And you do that just by touching the length scale, and that will reset the sensitivity. Second thing is that spokes tend to ring even if they're not plucked. So you might want to hold the spokes around the spoke you're plucking to make sure that you get an accurate measurement of only the spoke you're plucking. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate here with a couple of the spokes on this wheel. And I'll try to be quiet during the actual plucking because we don't want to upset the measurements. Alright, you can see we had a 64, 65, that range, and then a 69. It's pretty straightforward. You just want to make sure the spokes don't ring other spokes. You want to pluck them gently, and if you have other noises in the room, you want to reset your audio levels by touching the length measurement. Now, the last thing I'll say about this is if you are using steel spokes, which most people are, I've tested extensively on steel spokes. They work extremely well. As do titanium. I've tested with titanium and aluminum spokes. Carbon spokes are a little different. They're a lot more damped. They don't make as much noise. So if you have carbon spokes, you can use the app for relative measurement, but I wouldn't use it for absolute measurement, as it's not going to give good readings. I think that's it. Have a great time riding, folks.